Another thing that I'm thinking of as far as that goes is the possibility of utilizing it for the image of the beast. I mean,
Mm.
we're seeing various ways or things that it could be. I mean, we've seen the giants and whatnot. I mean, there's the aspect of everybody plugging into like a metaverse type of thing, and there could be the image of the beast everywhere on that. But I don't know. It's we're talking about manipulation. We're talking about spoofing and everything like that. AI could be used heavily for the image of the beast itself. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on what that would entail, but do you have any ideas on how AI could be used for that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So um, my thoughts are kind of like, if you look back through the advancement of technology, and I showed this to you, but to the audience, I drew out some ideas on this, but basically from the 1940s basically through the 1980s, you have hardware, you have the actual computer that went from taking up a whole room to now where you have it sitting on your desk as in the form of a laptop, right? You have the software, you have the information processing power that goes inside of that hardware that has doubled and doubled and doubled to the point now where our computers on our smartphones are way smarter than what NASA used to launch, a ship into space. Um, and that has increased and increased and increased and doubled, throughout time, right? To the point, but we've kind of gotten to a point now where we plateaued in terms of information processing power. So
Mm-hmm.
we plateaued probably early 2000s in terms of how fast we can create or process information. So then we see this technology begin to spread into other areas. So we begin to get into like smart devices. So now instead of just having a cell phone, now you have a cell phone that can connect to the internet, and now it has a phone, a camera on it, and it has GPS, and it has a radio, and it used to have all these separate devices. Now all these devices are put into one, right? So we're consolidating into what we call smart technology. And then that smart technology goes forward, and then that begins to spread out into every other kind of device. We call that the Internet of Things, right? And then the
Yep.
Army has the Internet of battle things, right? So the Internet of Things begins to spread out as the internet becomes more powerful and the system becomes more powerful. We're in 5G now, right? So now your refrigerator is connected to the internet, your toaster, maybe your pants or your sunglasses or whatever, your car, all of this stuff now is beginning to that. And then the last part of it is we have artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence has been around since the 1950s, believe it or not, with the Turing test.
Mm-hmm.
And it was extremely basic, right? Basically you have like a checker game that you would play against your computer. It could just do one thing. And now we're getting to the point where with Alexa and Siri and all of these other um, low end AI systems, they're not AGI or anything like that yet. They're far way more complicated than they were in the past. But we're going to get to that point where AGI, artificial general intelligence, becomes the norm. But I think a lot of this stuff, when it comes to computers, the hardware, the software, the Internet of Things, the classical computing model kind of, I think all of that is plateaued, and it's going to plateau until the rapture. After the rapture, I think the gloves come off, and I think the demonic realm will be flooding the world with this technology. And what I mean flooding is that they're going to go and tell, the Holy Spirit is a restraining force through the church,
Mm-hmm.
in conjunction with the church. He not only restrains evil in the world or from allowing the Antichrist to come forth, but it restrains mankind from, I think, moving too fast, too far, too fast at too quick a pace and advancing too fast. And think about like technology, and not to go too much, too far back, but mankind was limited to the speed of horse until about the 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
until we developed, steam power, and then coal power, and then that was put into trains, and then we kind of go from there. But you see how slow technology was, and I think the Holy Spirit was restraining mankind for a long time so that mankind couldn't advance too quickly. Because if we developed the atomic bomb back in the, let's say, the medieval times, I mean, we would have destroyed our world, many times over back, between then and now.
Yeah.
So the Holy Spirit's restrained how fast mankind has progressed as well. And now I think after the rapture of the church, that restraint is removed. And all of these things, all of these technologies that people are scratching their head, like trying to figure out how to create more qubits or how to create a quantum computing system that doesn't require the extreme cold temperatures it needs to prevent errors. I think that they'll all of that stuff, the demonic realm is going to come in and basically show them the all the secrets and the tricks to make everything work, because they're going to have a very short period of time to make everything happen. So I think we're plateaued till now, until the rapture of the church, and then the second that rapture happens, all this new knowledge is going to come out and flood the world. And it could come in the form of UFOs, or it could come in the form of demons just whispering into the right scientist ear. That's like he gets that eureka moment, like, aha, now I understand it. But it was because something was telling him what it was that he just wasn't privy to before.
And I mean, right now, as we're seeing technology advanced, we're seeing it picking up speed now. And in my opinion, that's just another sign of the Lord's kind of lifting his hand off the
Mm,
world a little bit. You know what I mean? As we're gaining speed, he's kind of like, we're almost out of here. We're almost home. The restrainer's almost
mm.
out of here. So I think that's another aspect too, because how we're seeing how fast. I mean, we're at the point now where if it keeps going at the speed it's going, in a couple years' time, we're going to surpass the technology of Revelation, and we know that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and we know ultimately where this all of this. If everybody listening tonight, if we were to talk about everything that was going on, even if we just talk about the topics we were going to talk about tonight, Chat GPT, Chaos GPT, quantum computing, anti-aging technology, artificial intelligence, and then all the other things that spiral out of those things, it is so overwhelming. Just, I mean, for me, it's overwhelming. But when you look at where things are going to end up and you kind of work your way backwards, it's more manageable in terms of taking in this all of the knowledge and the information that's out there. Because ultimately we know the two technologies this world is driving at right now, and that's driving at the image of the beast, making this image come to life, and the mark of the beast, which is controls all the buying and selling in the world. So everything that, despite all of the shiny distractions out there, just recognize that all of this technology is driving to a point, and those 2 points are, the points there are the image of the beast and the mark of the beast.